This is not a football story. This is a story about money, infrastructure, and power. On June 5th, 2025, in a stadium filled with unbearable tension, a single 0-0 draw accomplished more for Uzbekistan's future than decades of painful economic reforms. That final whistle wasn't just a sound. It was a signal. It didn't just send a team, the White Wolves, to the World Cup for the very first time. It unlocked billions in investment, it accelerated massive infrastructure projects, and it fundamentally rebranded an entire nation, seemingly overnight. This is a deep dive into how a country, for so long on the sidelines of the global economy, engineered a single sporting achievement to change everything. Because the real prize of the World Cup was never the golden trophy. It's power. To truly grasp the earth-shaking consequences of that single moment on the pitch, you have to understand the 34 years of history that led up to it. Since breaking from the Soviet Union in 1991, Uzbekistan's story was one of agonizing near misses. It was a cycle of hope and heartbreak. In the qualifiers for the 2006, 2014, and 2018 World Cups, the White Wolves fell at the final, most painful hurdle. Each loss did more than just crush sporting dreams. It reinforced a damaging narrative of stagnation, a feeling that the country was permanently stuck on the outside looking in. It was a perfect and brutal metaphor for the nation's broader economic and political isolation under its first president, Islam Karimov. This time, it wasn't about redemption. This was about execution. The 2025 qualification was anything but a fluke. It was the calculated, deliberate result of a top-down national strategy, driven with relentless focus by President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, who rose to power in 2016. His government made a fundamental shift. They stopped treating football as just a sport and started treating it as a key pillar of their new Uzbekistan vision, a grand, ambitious plan to modernize the country, open its economy to the world, and elevate its global reputation. The government made the link explicit. Success on the pitch equals national progress. President Mirziyoyev himself called the win undeniable proof of the nation's potential and a powerful tool for strengthening Uzbekistan's international authority. It was a complete and total reversal of the old system. The new game plan was driven by a formal document, a state-level blueprint called the Concept for the Development of Football until 2030, which was launched back in 2019. This document essentially treated the national team like a high-growth startup. Inject massive capital, professionalize every level of management, and build a sustainable talent pipeline from the ground up. Suddenly, World Cup qualification wasn't a distant dream. It was a key performance indicator for the entire new Uzbekistan project. And this is how a game played with a ball on a field becomes an instrument of national power. Perhaps the greatest impact of qualifying is the one you can't put a precise price tag on, but it is by far the most valuable, the total rebranding of a nation. For over 3 decades, the world's perception of Uzbekistan, if it existed at all, was often filtered through a grainy, outdated lens. Words like post-Soviet, closed-off, obscure, and authoritarian define the country. That's a narrative that actively scares away tourists and makes foreign investors profoundly nervous. The World Cup takes a torch to that entire narrative. It is, without any exaggeration, the single greatest marketing campaign in the country's 34-year history. During the tournament, the name Uzbekistan will be on the lips of billions of people. News outlets from London to Sao Paulo will run profiles on the team and its nation. Documentary crews will land in the country, looking to explore its ancient culture. Fans who had never even heard of the country will suddenly be looking up Tashkent and Samarkand for the first time. This is soft power at its absolute peak, and it has hard, tangible economic consequences. This wave of global exposure is the ultimate antidote to investor uncertainty. It signals stability, ambition, and most importantly, the ability to execute a complex, long-term plan on the world stage. For a government desperately trying to attract foreign direct investment, that kind of validation is priceless. This newfound credibility adds powerful momentum to the country's other major economic goals, like its difficult and lengthy bid to join the World Trade Organization. The global spotlight forces a level of transparency and a commitment to international standards that can dramatically accelerate those kinds of structural reforms. The 2025 visit by FIFA President Gianni Infantino was the ultimate endorsement. a clear signal that the world's most powerful sports organization sees Uzbekistan as a serious, emerging player on the global stage. This is the real World Cup effect. This national rebranding is being built on a literal foundation of steel and concrete. Qualifying for a World Cup doesn't just put your team in the tournament. It puts your entire country on the global infrastructure investment map. And Uzbekistan is unleashing immense resources to build world-class facilities to prove it belongs. This isn't just about sports. It's about creating tangible, long-lasting assets that increase national influence. But this isn't about stadiums. It's about leverage. The crown jewel of this effort is the planned 55,000-seat national stadium in New Tashkent, a futuristic smart city being built from the ground up just outside the current capital. With a reported price tag of around $100 million, this is more than just a place to play football. It's a statement of intent, a piece of architectural messaging designed to meet the highest FIFA standards. It's envisioned as a multi-use hub for international concerts and major conferences, broadcasting the nation's ambition to the world. Its construction, kicking off in late 2025, is quite literally the foundation for the country's larger global goals. This flagship project spearheads a nationwide construction blitz. Since 2017, the government has reportedly built over 100 new sports facilities. The number of FIFA-compliant football fields has jumped from just 3 to over 10. The essential groundwork needed to host international events and project power across the region. To accelerate this, a presidential decree even fast-tracked the reconstruction of key facilities by granting sweeping customs exemptions on imported building materials until April 2026. This building boom creates thousands of jobs and stimulates local demand for materials and services. But more importantly, each new stadium acts as a magnet for wider development, sparking parallel investment in nearby hotels, transport links, and service industries. This is how a single win on the field becomes a long-term economic asset, positioning Uzbekistan as a future hub for major events in Central Asia. While the gleaming new stadiums are the hardware, the software, that is, the flood of money and talent into the system, is where the strategy truly becomes self-sustaining. The very first check comes directly from FIFA, an estimated $10 million just for participating in the tournament. For a developing football federation, this is a serious injection of debt-free, no-strings-attached cash that can be immediately reinvested into the system to hire better coaches and build more academies. But that's just the start. The real money flows from the sponsorship gold rush that follows qualification. Before making it to the World Cup, the Uzbekistan Super League was a strictly local affair. Now, it's suddenly a hot commodity for international brands. Following foundational deals with global giants like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, the local electronics powerhouse Untold signed a major deal to become the title sponsor for the 2024 to 2026 seasons. By early 2025, the professional league was backed by a portfolio of 6 different companies, including the national payment system Uzcard, the Italian sportswear brand Macron, and even Volkswagen. These brands are all betting on a captive, energized audience of 35 million people in a country with a projected GDP growth of nearly 7% for 2026. The halo effect of the World Cup, combined with deep anti-corruption reforms within the league, has forged a clean, attractive, and powerful marketing machine. This isn't unique to Uzbekistan. It is a proven playbook for emerging markets to turn global attention into domestic revenue. This machine is fueled by the increasingly lucrative talent export business. The government's strategic focus on youth development, proven by recent wins in the AFC U23 Championship and the U20 Asian Cup, created a production line of high-value talent. Today, Uzbekistan has around 20 players competing in foreign leagues with a collective market value that has soared to over $60 million. The entire national squad is now valued at over 68 million euros. Players like defender Abdulkadir Kuzanov, who transferred to a top French league and then to the English Premier League, are the poster boys for this new model. Every single transfer brings in hard currency, polishes the country's reputation for producing elite talent, and creates a perfect feedback loop. Success on the pitch breeds investment, which in turn breeds even more success. From 34 years of waiting on the sidelines to stepping directly into the global spotlight, Uzbekistan's road to the 2026 World Cup is more than a Cinderella story. It is a profound turning point. But this was never just a sports story. It's a meticulously documented case study in how the world's most popular game can be engineered to generate economic, political, and symbolic power. It's a story written in the concrete and steel of new stadiums as a nation physically builds itself for a bigger future. It's a story told in the flow of capital as international sponsors and investors rush to a market that has finally proven it can win. And above all, it's a story of a new national brand, one that methodically replaces old, tired stereotypes with a modern vision of progress, competence, and ambition. For an entire generation of young Uzbeks, this victory is more than just a memory. It is a powerful sign of new possibilities. It proves that with the right strategy and the political will to see it through, a single goal can, in fact, change the destiny of a nation. This is why countries chase the World Cup. So, where else in the world is football becoming politics? And at what point does sports stop being a game and start being a grand strategy?